engineer, the first thing that comes to mind is if you're going to raise the curb and gutter so that you actually have a gutter, which is the goal because of the overlays on the street, now it might not match the sidewalk. And, I mean, you've got some elevation challenges.
I can see that.
Theoretically, but.
And in addition to that, there is going to be conversation with the property owners prior to that hearing.
Prior to the hearing, you're going to be going out to each of the property owners.
That's what
and
I'm at,
discussing it.
that we have information to make some intelligent decisions instead of emotional decisions.
I'll be waiting, John.
But the answer to your question is, we'll get a cost on the curb and gutter separate from the sidewalk. I do want to have a conversation to make sure that we're not working against ourselves in that by changing elevations. It may work, it may not, I'm not sure. But at this point, and what we heard a little bit tonight is, we're just getting to that point to start having those conversations. And they do have to, they do have to be had. I agree with you. No question about it. I would encourage everybody to take a look at the Public Works Committee minutes because we put them in the packet specifically for this conversation. There are several thoughts in there for you as a council to consider. I'd verge on the verge of recommendations because there are things that pertain to this project that I think it answers a lot of questions, but it's a council decision. The committee can only make the recommendation. It's there for your contemplation, and until the council starts weighing in on some of those philosophical discussions in the, based on the committee's recommendations, we're way ahead of ourselves.
Now, one thing that happened last time, and I would wonder if we can check with them again, is Mid-America Energy came in and checked all of their lines along those front businesses, and we actually had one that was leaking and one that was on the verge of leaking. Had we not torn up those downtown sidewalks, we might have had ourselves a bigger problem than what we thought. We might have had one of those buildings gone up in smoke.
Well, in the process of laying the ground bare or open at that particular time, we notified Mid-America, Light and Power, Cable, all the folks that said, we're digging the hole for you guys, come over here and take a look and see what you need to fix. And Mid-America fixed the entire length of, or pretty much the entire length of First Street with a new gas line, but they had no intention of coming in and doing originally.
Yeah.
Because we opened it up for them, 11
So would they do the same thing on
Yep.
some of those businesses along those north streets?
Yep.
Okay.
One thing maybe
If it's
the
there.
committee,
The gas might be coming in from the backside
Yeah.
or something along
No, I
those lines,
understand.
which might be different. So.
maybe one thing the committee might want to think about is, because we have had several people say that the decorative sidewalk is slippery, and it is slipperier, but maybe we want to think about going, if we do the project, going north on Chatham Street, that first block. Maybe we don't want to do the decorative, maybe we want to do something just plain. I don't know if we're adding to a problem just for the sake of beautification. I don't know whether it's so slippery that somebody's going to fall, but apparently there's enough people that feel that it's slippery. Maybe we need to rethink that.
One thing here we might look at is, can the council have a workshop on this? I mean, we're kind of looking a little goofy sitting
Yeah, we
here
are.
at our council meeting asking questions that we really ought to be talking about in a non-council meeting session.
As always, we can meet as often as the council decides is prudent and necessary. So the answer is yes.
Preferably before the
27th.
Yeah.
I think we should have a workshop on it.
I think that's a
Put that
good idea.
together then? Okay, thank you. I know you love meetings, Justin.
Just I was busy looking at the iPad and I heard, can you put that together? And then like 2 seconds later, okay, thank you, with no response from anyone. I know he nodded, but it just made me laugh.
Okay, can we move on to new business? Number one is consideration of Pony Express Riders of Iowa to collect donations. I don't see anybody here representing them. But we do have their request, letter request amongst your papers or your documentation.
I noticed they don't have a certificate of insurance.
They did.
Oh, they did?
That's on
Okay.
there,
Got
that's
one
in
in
there
there.
too.
Packet.
They did
Sorry.
send that late this afternoon.
It's on the board
Yeah,
docs.
it's on there.
I was at the coffee shop.
And you don't have your iPad, because otherwise it's on your iPad.
I think his iPad's on the roof.
Yeah, no, he's got it.
No, I don't have it.
Buchanan County Chairperson, okay. Did anybody read the request to the city council for this, so you know what they're requesting and what they're doing? Is this something they've done every year for several years?
Now, we changed into fire department with the boot. Don't stand right in the intersection like they used to anymore, do they?
They did last year.
Do they?
They have to
Yeah.
get reflective vests for the parking.
Yeah, they,
Okay,
they're required, we provide them with a vest.
okay.
They have the green vest, the green traffic vest. And, to speak, we provide them with that.
Goes good with the cowboy hat, right?
Pardon?
It goes good with the cowboy hat.
It looked good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got people's attention and they got money, so
Okay.
donations for it.
But they were in the intersection, they were standing right in the
Okay.
intersection.
I just remember we talked about that, but getting old, I can't remember what we talked about for sure.
Memory's the second thing to go.
Not asking for
I don't
any
remember
road
what the
closure or
first was.
police escort. And they will have the reflective vests.
Yeah, road closure would actually require, since they're actually utilizing Highway 150 as well, that requires state, that require DOT to give them permission to
Right.
do that. We don't have that authority. They've asked us to do that for them in the past, just to give them permission. I can't do that. That's a DOT issue.
Then we have
So-
that with the 4th of July parade too.
Yes, and that's something we do, and we do that because it is a city event. We do that with the DOT.
I make a motion.
I second.
Motion from Hill. What's
This
it called?
bald guy.
Hill, second by
I'm not bald,
Vaughn. All those we don't have that, doesn't have to be roll call. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Thank you. Next on our agenda is, if I can get out of that one, Public Works Collective Bargaining Agreement.
This is the, one of the two bargaining units that we have in the city. In short, the agreement takes away overtime after 8 hours and provides for overtime only after 40 hours. We did change language in compensatory time, giving the compensatory time determination choice to the employee, whether their additional time is earned as a compensatory time or overtime, up to a 40-hour bank. Once it goes over 40 hours, once they have 40 hours banked, then it automatically rolls into overtime. We did change the accrual of compensatory time, just some language in there, a word correction. Sick leave, we changed the verbiage in sick leave to state that we may require a doctor's note before returning to work after the second day, as opposed to we must. The previous language mandated it. This one gives us some flexibility. We did approve birth of an employee's child under the family sick leave. Currently, it stipulates several things that family sick leave could be used for. That was not one of them. It is health insurance. We changed it from a dollar amount contribution to the health insurance, employees' health insurance, to a percentage. The employees are contributing 90% of our discounted health insurance premium. The employer pays 90%. The increase shall not exceed $20 annually for the family policy. In other words, the 10%, if our premiums go up more than $200, the employee's share will not increase more than 20% a year. And it will never be less than the $140 a month that it is currently at. So we've set a floor on that as well.
Is that for 3 years then?
It's for 3 years.
So that
It-
language is for 3 years, the whole
That-
thing is?
The whole thing is for 3 years. It's based on a 3% salary adjustment annually for 3 years. The biggest concessions, moving to a percentage basis on the health insurance. We share the risk for increases and decreases as long as it does not go below, again, the $140 per month on the family plan. The single plan is $35 a month employee contribution, but again, it's based on the 10% of the total discounted premium.
Second.
Motion by Dallenbach, second by Holland, or, yeah, I got the right one that time. Does this need roll call then?
We're gonna do a roll call.
Okay, roll call.
If you don't mind, Mary?
Yep.
Grover,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Holland,
Yes.
Lennius.
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Dallenbach.
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried. Next item on the agenda is consideration of purchase of the old high school property, and I need a motion to enter a possible closed session pursuant to Iowa Code Chapter 21.05, parentheses J, to discuss the purchase of particular real estate only where premature disclosure could reasonably expected to increase the price of the governmental body would have to pay for the property. The minutes and the tape recording of the session closed under this paragraph shall be available for public examination when the transaction discussed is completed. This closed session is to consider the purchase of the old high school property.
I'll make a motion.
One
Motion by
clarification, I
Magnus.
think somebody was mixed up. When we're not talking about buying the entire high school building.
No.
We're talking about buying just the south section of that
4.5.
building, so
And
we're,
4.5 acres.
Land.
And we're talking about the
Land.
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 It would just be
Land,
building.
land.
yeah, the building will be down, and we're not buying the entire property. We're buying just a small section on the south end, so I just wanted to kind of clarify that.
That was our.
Basically, if you cut a line down through the auditorium, that's pretty close, I think, right?
That's what's been